Hi friends, welcome back. We're talking about finding arc and central angle measures. Now, the things that I want you to write in your notebook is this right here, the central angles look like this. They are right on the center of your circle. An inscribed angle is different. And if you take a peek here, when it's a central angle, the arc is the same degrees as the central angle. Whereas on an inscribed circle or an inscribed angle, it's going to be half of whatever the arc is. So there's a big difference there. We're not going to talk about inscribed angles now, but I do want you to see the difference between the two. Okay, so let's get in here, and I apologize, I'm going to have to zoom in really close to get so that you can see these. All right, so this one says find the measure of angle VSW. So VSW, let's take a peek at that guy right in here. So we're like, okay, so VSW is right in there. All right, so we know that this is 55, and we know that this guy is the same as this one. So TSU is the same as this VSW. And then we know because this angle, this arc is 145, that must mean that this is 145 as well. So we have 145 plus 55 here. That gives us 200. So this plus this is 200. Remember, there are 360 degrees in a circle. So if you take 360 and you minus 200, you're left with 160. Because these are equal, this has to be 80 degrees and this one has to be 80 degrees as well. All right, let's take a peek at this next one. So for these, now this is a central angle, awesome, but they're also vertical angles. So we know that this angle is going to be congruent to this angle. Since we know that this is 45, that means this angle is 45 and this angle right in there is 45 as well. So it's asking HLK. So when we go for HLK, that's right here. Sorry, HLK. So we're looking for that thing right there. Well, assume that lines which appear to be the diameters are actual diameters. This is really important information. So now that we know that this is a diameter, because you can see HLJ looks like a diameter, and a diameter is going to cut your 360 degree circle in half, which makes it 180 degrees. So if we take 180, there we go, and we minus 45 from there, what is that? 135, right? So we end up with 135. So this is 135, and because it's a vertical angle to over here, this is also going to be 135. All right, let's take a look at these guys down here. Find GHE. So GHE is because it's 3, it's going to be our major arc here. So GH and then E. So we want to go all the way around from, GHE. Helps if I read that right. I read DHE. Like that. We want to find that arc right there. Well, the good news is because this one is 55 degrees, this also has to be, because it's 55 here, it's going to be 55 right in here. And this line here indicates that those are congruent, just like the previous one. So this one is also 55 degrees. Let's write that again, 55 degrees, just like that. So this is 55, this is 55. Our whole circle is 360. So if we do 360 minus 55, minus another 55, we end up with, let's take a peek here, 250. So 250 degrees would be that one. All right, let's take a look at GHF. The measure of angle GHF, that's going to be this guy right in here. And this is another one where it's important that if it looks like a diameter, it's probably a diameter. And GHE looks like a diameter. So that means we have to take 180, and if we minus 108, we end up with 72, and that will give us this guy right in here, 72 degrees, because together those add up to 180. And if it's a diameter, then it's 180 degrees. All right, let's try some other ones. So let's look at this guy right here. Find the measure of angle VRT. So VRT. Okay, so from VRT, like that. All right, well, we know that because this is 53 degrees here, this is also 53 right in there. This is also 80, and this is 135. So if we take 360 minus 53 minus 80 minus 135, that should give us this remaining amount here, which is SRV. So let's see, if we do 360 minus 53 minus 80 minus 135, we end up with 92 degrees right in here. Now, remember, we wanted to find VRT. So our total is going to, oh, so that was 92. So our total is going to be 92 plus 53. So that's 5, and then that's 14. So 145 degrees for that guy. All right, let's take a look at this one. So the measure of arc TQS. So TQS, because it's got all three, it's the major one, meaning it's more than 180 degrees. So we're going to go from TQS around that way. If they just said TS, we would be doing this, and that would be easy because it would be 110, since we're already told that. Well, we know that this is 110 and this is 50. These two things are exactly alike because of the tick marks here. So if we have 360 and we minus 110 plus 50 is 160, it gives us 200. And if we divide that by 2, we end up with 100. So for these to be congruent, they would have to both be 100, because 100 plus 100 plus 50 plus this guy right in here, which is 110, that would give us 360 degrees. So for this guy, let me just double check. Oh, we had to find the whole thing though. So always go back and read the question. So it would be 100 plus 100 plus 50. So 100 plus 100 plus 50 gives us 250 would be the measure of arc TQS. All right, let's look at this. The measure of arc FHE. FHE. Okay, so F, and so because it's 3, it's going to be over 180. So we're going to say FHE, just like that. So now we could see if we could, so like this guy right here is like looks like a diameter, so it probably is, but because we don't know this one, we know these both together are going to be 120, because 60, 70, 80, that would give us 180 here. Oh, actually what we could do is say, well, if we do 180 minus 70 gives us 110, minus 60 gives us 50. So this has to be 50 degrees, because do you see there is an arc here, right? Or I'm sorry, a diameter here. So that would make 180. Now there's a diameter from here to here. So if we take 180 minus 60 minus 50, I don't want to mess up the math on this. You would end up with 70. So this would have to be 70 degrees. And that actually makes sense because vertical angles right here. Remember, vertical angles are congruent, which means this 60 plus 50, which is 110, this would also be 110. Now, the question's asking us, what is this whole arc? We actually didn't need to go through that process of finding those, but I wanted you to see how that works, because we know a whole circle is 360 and we're excluding this 60 here. So if you exclude the 60, you're just left with 300. Sure enough, if you add all these up, you would also get 300. All right, let's look at the measure of arc IK. So IK would go like this, and we want to make it a minor arc because it's 100. It's not 3 letters there. So the measure of IK, okay, well, if we know the whole circle is 360, so if we do 360 minus 155 minus 55, so 360 minus 155 minus 55 gives us 200. Okay, so that means this remaining balance here is 200. Now, I could just say this equals 200, right? But if we do, let me make sure I've got that. Oh, I did that wrong. 360 minus, I'm like, that doesn't seem to add up. It's 150. I'm so sorry. It is 150. So this whole thing here is 150. Now, if I wanted to determine which each of these individually are, because they're congruent, this would be 75 and this would be 75, because 75 and 75 would give us that 150. But for arc IK, it is 150. So hopefully that helps you understand now the measures, like finding the arc and the central angle measurements. We will see you next time.